Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is your weekend wrap-up for this Sunday, the 8th of March, 2026. And yes, I am back, and I'll be here with you for quite a while now. That's all that I have planned, other than if something came up out in left field. So good to be back. It is about 7 at night. We have seen the markets open now, and you're looking at the stock market crater. Interestingly, the metal markets are going down with it, as the energy markets have soared. These are not misquotes. You're up $15 a barrel in the Brent right now. In the WTI, you're up $16, nearly $17 a barrel. And notice they're at the same price. You haven't seen that in a long time. Typically, they trade about $1 apart. That has narrowed in rather dramatically. But it's the products. 54 cents heating oil up, 32 cents in gasoline. So you are looking at a massive shift to the upside as the market builds everything in. I'm getting letters, people write me, some of my subscribers, and they go, what about the SPR? The time you use it is when it does the most good. What do we see today? We saw that the consul in Iran appointed Khomeini's son, Mojtaba, I don't even know how to say it, to be the new supreme leader. Now, he's not a moderate by any stretch of the imagination. President Trump earlier had said he'd like a say in the new leader. Well, obviously, we haven't, as the United States, conquered Iran in any manner. Why would we get a say in the leader? We say a lot of things to our president. We don't necessarily say them. He does, and he may want it, but you can't do anything and have a say in anything till you conquer the other country. They have not been conquered. They're still fighting back, and they're fighting back in a rough way. We lost another soldier today, so that puts the count, I believe, at 7 that we're being told. These are all the bad things. You don't have tomorrow any economic data coming out, so let's just concentrate on what we have. You have the markets all coming down, the dollar shooting up higher, and it is a worst case scenario for those of you in the market. You've got to just hold on and say there'll be a point at which things are overdone and the market's discounted most of this information. It's not as though nuclear weapons are flying. This is a regional conflict. Iran's very different now than it was in June. It learned from that. It figured out what to do. It made compartments in everything that it has, so that if the head of something gets killed, the next person's ready to step up. And they had it all planned out to strike all the neighbors that they have. Why not create regional war? And that's what they're doing in terms of economics. You think not? You're now closing in the oil in Kuwait. You're closing in the oil in Saudi Arabia. They're out of areas to store the oil. I understand a taker, one, has made it through the Strait of Hormuz that the president had ships taken through. I don't know what that means, and I'm still worried about the submarines and other things waiting for the tankers. One doesn't get the tankers through. So this has a ways to go. If it's weeks, months, how low do you go in these markets? When we look at the S&P, you can see how the market is slipping back right now. So far, as we're just getting the month going, we're down 3.7%. As we look at the weekly chart, we're down 1.63% and it busts through the 18-week average. We did our best to hold it for a long time, 4 weeks or so. And you must realize today's only the 9th day of the war. The war took place a week ago Saturday, this past Saturday. So today is the 8th, 9th day? It depends how you count it. Was it the evening or not? And that gets to give you an idea of what is going on. You're breaking down now on the weekly bar chart. You've got the swing line down with lower highs, lower lows. The market fought a battle that it's now lost. That's past tense. It fought a battle at the 18-week average, and it did so for a long time, literally from January. And now the market is breaking out to the downside. The first logical spot to go to is a Bollinger Band. It could be a main moving average, but a Bollinger Band is often it, and that's exactly what you've done. The other moving averages, the 100, is down at 60.75. Could you go there? It's another 600 points. That's an awful far way down. What I think is when you go to a Bollinger Band, you're overdone. Are you embedded? No. So you may not agree with me on this, and a lot of people won't. This should be the first area in my mind that the market tries to make a battle of finding a low. I want to say the same thing about the Dow. You've got a swing line that is not trending like the S&P. It's a vertical price decline right into the lower Bollinger Band in an oversold market. Often that's a target. Whether there's wars, no wars, what have you got? We don't know what we'll wake up to each and every morning. I think you understand that. When you look at the NASDAQ, same thing. You fell to the lower Bollinger Band. If it fell apart, the possibility is down here at the 21,888, 3,000 points lower. And you can see where you're at. If you think the Iranians aren't looking at what's happening in the American markets and cheering this on, you're sadly mistaken. This is part of their war. This is part of the way they hurt the Americans for doing what they did. When you look at the Russell, lower highs, lower lows, I think it has more room. I think it can get to the Bollinger Band, maybe the 100-day average. It's acting the strongest because it didn't get to that number as the other indices are basically there. Even the DAX joined in and fell apart and went to the Bollinger Band and found some of its support. When we look at the bonds and notes, notice the difference right now. When the war first began, people were rushing out to buy the bonds and notes. I'm proud of what I wrote as that all took place, and I said, don't join that party. I said not to buy the gold on the big rally that occurred, not to buy the bonds. I even said don't buy the dollar on the big rally. Back away, because it often, all these pull back on you and you get yourself burned in a way. The one that ran was crude oil. It never did back off. The others have done pretty much that way. So 3 out of 4 is not bad. When I look at the T-notes, you can see the market's falling into the 200-day average, the 18, looking for an area of support there. It's not in an uptrend at this point because it's not over that 18-week average. The dollar index up and over the 18-week average. It got there on Friday. Now you catch the stops. Those that have been short this market are getting hurt. Fundamentally, I am in the bear camp of the dollar in the long term. Right now, in time of war, no, people generally buy the dollar. Now, you might think they buy the notes and the bonds. Maybe. We'll find out. Give you something that you might want to chew on in a moment here, too. Take a look at where you've gone to the euro. You rallied back up on a weekly basis to the 18-week average. Now you're falling as the dollar's taking off again. The Canadian dollar still staying over the 18-week average. So even though you're getting a break in the market, and it did fail on the first test of the 200-week average in the Bollinger Band, the market is staying well bid compared to the dollar at this point. The yen, no. The yen's making new lows on the move, and I think I told you all week long, the week before I went on vacation, that that was going to be the case. And in Bitcoin, you see it pulling back. The market had flirted with losing the embedded reading. It's got it right back. You want to be very careful with this right now. When we come to the energy part of the market, the difference between these two, I think I want to get you into the March. I don't like what's going on here, so I'm not going to talk about that one. I want to go back and get those on the chart. When we come to the Brent, though, you could see on the Brent on a weekly chart, running to the upside, gapping away. You're up 15% just tonight from Friday. When we come back, last week you ended up on the chart, this is what's fascinating, up 27.88%. So between the two, you're up 44% in 2 weeks. Unbelievable. Same thing going on in the light sweet. I won't go through that again. It's the same thing. Again, you had a formation that narrowed in. That gives a tremendous power to the upside, which it's going through. You did similar, but not quite the same, in the gasoline and the heating oil. So when you put this all together and you're there, you got to ask yourself this. With China looking at all this going on, and the U.S. using all its munitions, we've got a third carrier now, I understand, on the way into the Mideast. We're going through between Ukraine and what we're fighting right now with Iran. Well, what if they made a move on Taiwan now? I'm not saying they will. What would that be? I mean, if you talk about timing, could be an interesting time. I'm not saying it should or shouldn't happen. but you just got to think these ways with all that's going on. Fascinating how the metal markets don't want to run. I'll do a metal report next, and I'll see you all first thing in the morning. I'm Ira Epstein. Thanks for watching.